Just waiting for you to call, bro.
Yeah, dude, it has been crazy. You are more than likely to get a better response from Chloe than from me. I have been getting like between 50 and 100 DMs a day and then all sorts of calls. So, what do you got?
When you're hot, man.
Yeah, apparently so.
You know,
But Chloe is definitely a lot more responsive. Have you talked to her
uh,
before?
I think I talked to her for Graham when she was calling for info about Graham,
Okay.
but I don't remember the number.
Responsive. I can get you I can have her ping you on it. Is it about the Graham deal or the Marysville deal, or you got a different one going on?
Man, about all deals, man. We're out here dealing and wheeling, man.
Sweet. That is awesome. Why is this not going live? Anyway, yeah, so what you got going on?
Just trying to get these things out of here, man. They're hurting my OCD, man. It's driving me crazy. The real thing. You laugh. It's a real thing.
I believe it. I believe it. I have it to some extent as well. What sort of interest have you been getting on them?
Like people up here, they don't really mess with the manufactured homes too much, man, or they want them at like 30% of ARV, bro. Like that's just crazy.
Yeah, well, I mean, the tough thing with that deal too, it's in a bit of a rural area, so it makes a bit of a harder sell for somebody that's going to do a flip, because there's not, like, Chloe was having a very hard time finding anything that was a real comp. Like there was no manufactured homes sold like in any sort of reasonable time period or radius around that.
I think the last time I checked, let me see. Where was that at? There's one sold on 11/17.
How far away?
Not that far away. It's almost comparable in land side as well. I mean, I'm 100,000, and
Okay.
it's let's see. Yeah, that's not even that far at all. It's like a mile and a half, 2 miles.
What did it sell for?
Let me get out of the map.
I dropped the for people watching on Facebook Live, I dropped the
730
in the comments there if you want to join. So sold for 730.
730. Like when I first counted, I mean, I was getting things in, about the, at that was a manufactured, at least. I'm looking at just mainly manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's another one that's in worse condition than mine. It's 4 bedrooms, but I mean, with the flex den, you could still call it a 4 bedroom. It's 200 more square foot for 720 in the condition that it's in right now.
Mm-hmm. How far is it?
Add a little bit more land, right around the same area. One with smaller, about 500 square feet smaller inside of the house, and half as much land for sold for 740. So I mean, I didn't think I was wrong. I think 750 is actually on the low end.
What is
and it's zoned for R5.
What has the feedback been from the people that have taken, the buyers that have taken a look at it? So I saw it was sent out in like the low 500s, and
everybody, they want to be, I like my manufacturers like 2 or 3. Like, you're gonna make more money over here. It's just ridiculous. I mean, I get it, but I don't, because I mean, if you're gonna make more money, you're gonna be spending money regardless. So what's another $100,000 if you're going to make another $80,000 to $120,000? It mathematically doesn't make sense to me.
Oh, this property is a pretty big risk for investors, because it's not like your cookie cutter flip that's in a neighborhood where you've got 6 comps within, a third of a mile of
Yeah.
it that have sold in the last 3 months, so people are a bit more unsure about the pricing of where it's going to be when it's all completed. And so because of that, especially in this market, maybe when things were hot, it was different, but especially in this market, the buyers are going to want a much deeper discount to the ARV, right? So that's why this thing is a tough sell, I feel like, at the price that it's being sold at, because it's definitely more of a unique property. It's not something that, like I said, has a ton of comps. And
Yeah. I mean, looking at 1129 sold, like I said, half the land for 740, 720 for twice as much land though.
Yeah, so I don't know. So did you get any offers on it at all yet at this point, or people just
I got 2, but that's not working out.
Okay. And how motivated is the seller? Like, what's their pain point with this thing?
I'm second on this. I'm JV in this one.
Okay, so you haven't talked to the okay. Yeah, so it's hard to say. Like, you need to figure out like what I would do if it was me, and I knew the seller was motivated. Like in this case, you don't necessarily know, so I don't know if I'd spend the time on it or not, because if it's got to be in the 400s to actually sell to a cash buyer, or potentially the 300s, and that property needs a lot of work. Like, I think minimum 80K to get it to that ARV. It's a very big, I mean, it's 2,000 square feet, something around there. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, the house itself is like, about pretty much 2,000.
Yeah,
like 1950 or something like that.
You're going to need like 80 to 100K pretty easily to update everything in there. So it's going to need a lot of work. So the question is, how motivated are the sellers? If I knew they were really motivated, but they were just thinking, oh, we want to get 500 for this, I would put this out to the buyers, see where the offers start coming in at, see where people are saying their rehab is, like, as far as how much they think they're going to spend on this thing, and then take this back to the seller and say, hey, we gave this a shot at 500, but everybody is coming back and saying they need to be at 375 because this thing needs so much work. And the market has slowed a lot. It's dropped 10% in the last 4 months. You got all these other things going against it. I don't know what the condition of like the septic system is, if it's on a well or if it's city water or not, but those are other factors that need to be taken into account as well. And then I just go present that to the seller and say, this is, do they need to sell it, or do they want to sell it, sort of thing? Like, do they want to sell it if they can get 500, or do they just need to sell it because they're in some sort of situation? If they just want to sell it if they can get 500, that's like a different story. I personally wouldn't waste time dealing with them, because they're like the thousands of other unmotivated sellers right now that have unrealistic expectations about what they can get for their property. You want to spend your time focusing on those sellers that actually have to sell their property, right? They're motivated and they just need to sell it. And eventually, if they see the evidence that they're not going to get whatever it is that they're wanting for their property, eventually they're going to come down. And so we're seeing that with deals right now, where the sellers are realizing that they're not going to get what they were originally asking for. And if they see these numbers coming in from these buyers over and over and over again, eventually it's going to set in that, okay, if they're in a situation where they need to sell it, then they're going to just have to bite the bullet and and take that price. But at the same time, on some deals right now too, we're seeing buyers come up on price, and this hasn't happened in a while. So especially in good locations, that's like kind of the key. If buyers are confident on the ARV and then that it can get something sold fairly quickly once they're done with it, then we're seeing buyers come up on their offers on some of these deals. That's the other thing with this property as well, is that you don't necessarily know how long it's going to sit on the market for, right? Because it's rural, it's agricultural, right? They got livestock on that property.
Yeah.
It's going to go to a very small pool of retail buyers, right? So the question is, how long is that thing going to sit on the market once it's all rehabbed? You know, so it's not like these other deals that we're working on where, you know, the same ones that have 6 comps, you know, that if you price it appropriately, you should have it locked up with a retail buyer, you know, within 30 days or less. Whereas this property, you could price it appropriately and you still might not have a retail buyer for 90 days, you know, so somebody's going to have to budget the extra holding costs in for that as well. And if they're paying $500K plus $100K rehab, you know, and they've got a hard money loan for $500K on it at 10 to 12% interest, that's, you know, that starts adding up. You know, if it takes them 2 months to do the rehab, then it sits on the market for 3 months. And who knows what happens at that point when a buyer comes in, if somebody locks it up, doesn't pass inspection, or they just don't like it for whatever reason, then it goes back on the market. So that's why I think this is a really tough deal at that price.
Gotcha.
So I don't know. If it was me personally, I probably wouldn't spend a whole lot of time chasing buyers down on this unless you know that the seller is really motivated and can come down on.
Yeah, I'll talk with my partner and see where he's at.
So
let's see. Would you be interested in maybe doing a JV on Cascadia? I forgot the rest particular deals. I don't think you'd have to pay anything because it would be owner finance because he owns it free and clear. I believe like 300 down.
So JV as in wholesale it, or
no JV with the seller. So I would just take my fee, put you guys together. You guys agree to sell the house. I think the only juice that you would have to pay would be on his HELOC. Just pay his HELOC during the months until you rehab it and then put it on the market. You put it on the market for 1.7. He gets his 1.1 mil, and you get the rest.
So where's this at? Where's Cascadia?
Cascadia is in Genesee.
Oh, okay. And so how much is he wanting? He's wanting to get paid out 1.1.
1.1.
And you think it's worth 1 point?
I think if the market rebounds, like you either that or you burr it out. But when the market rebounds, everything else in that neighborhood is going around the 1.5. There's some up there that are in the high 2s, mid 2s, in that same neighborhood.
So this is a single family.
Yeah, it's a single family, but I mean, I'm 6'8". I walk the property myself, and I had tons of room downstairs. You could do a LTR and SR upstairs and downstairs. So it has a separate entrance downstairs as well.
Yeah, like a $1.1 million property though, like a single family is going to be definitely not going to cash flow. Is the thing. So he's willing to do 300K down. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
300K down. And does he have a mortgage on it?
No, he owns it free and clear.
He owns it free and clear. Okay. So let's break this down here. So he's willing to do 300K down. And then carry the balance of the 1.1 million. Or basically he wants to, so he wants to net 1.1 million. So
Correct.
he wants the 800K balance when it sells then, or
Correct.
okay, so he wants 300K up front, 800K on the sale. Okay, so would he be open then to doing a novation potentially rather than selling it outright?
Well, I mean, that one's already listed with an agent, which says
Oh,
friend.
it's on the market,
Yeah,
right?
it's already on the market. It's on the
Oh,
market at like 1.4 or 1.395.
okay, how long has it been on the market for?
Shit, we're coming on 6, 7 months right now.
Oh, wow.
I mean, the highest offer I got was 650 cash, but the closing is 60 days.
The highest you got was what?
It's 950.
Oh, 950. Okay. And then what are the terms that he's wanting for that 800K balance? Like, is he wanting payments during the rehab, or
I believe that if you, my partner's working the rest of that out with him, but I believe what we talked about was just paying, there's a 175 HELOC on it. So I think just paying the juice on the 165 HELOC.
okay. Any idea what the payments are on?
I don't know that. I didn't talk to him about that. I was just informed about it, but I don't have the particulars.
Okay. So that could be a deal. How big is it?
Let me pull it up.
All right, anybody that's watching here on Facebook or Instagram, we got this deal that we're looking at. Owner finance, currently listed for 1.4 ish. Sellers wanting 300K down, and then paid basically to cover his HELOC payments while the loan is in place.
3660 is the size.
3660.
Yeah.
And what sort of shape is it in?
I mean, it's just dated. It's not really that bad. It has original hardwood floors. They were sanded since then, but you're gonna resand them. It's kind of more they did like 90% of it and didn't hit the corners. I mean, the kitchen you can kind of get away with maybe kitchen needs to be cleaned up. The kitchen's newer than the rest of the house. I think the kitchen's probably like mid 2000s. I mean, mid early 2000s in terms of the color scheme and that dark red counter. I mean, cabinets and like that tannish cheap granite looking top, marble looking top stuff.
Yeah. So the thing is, in order to hit that 1.7 million, though, you're gonna have to bring your A game probably.
Yeah.
Right. So in which case, a 3,600 square foot house,
6 bedrooms.
six
So
bed.
the address is 4002 Cascadia Avenue.
Okay. Yeah. So you're gonna have to definitely 3,600 square feet. You're looking at probably for $1.7 million house, 100K plus 150K in rehab. So the question is, when all is said and done, so he's getting paid out 1.1 total. So the buyer would have to come in with down payment plus
So pretty much like 450.
450-ish, yeah. And then is it a deal to them at that price? So the question is, do the comps support 1.7 million? Is it like 1.7 million? There was one sale, or is this like 1.7 million all day? That in that area. Okay, so the people that are watching on Facebook, what are you working on?
1.4, 1.6, 1.4, 1.5, 1.9, 1.4, 1.5, 1.6, all varying degrees.
Hmm.
Not all of them exactly look like this, but
Is this actually under contract right now at the moment?
yeah, he's a friend of mine. So we locked in. He keeps up on Zillow because it's easier for the showings. But he's taking care of his friend that's also the realtor on this, dropping that, going with my our agreement went in place, and going that way.
So what is it, 4020 or
No, 4,002.
4002? Okay. Oh, so it's off market.
Did he pull it? I don't know if he pulled it yet. Oh, I guess he did pull it.
Let's see. I'm not seeing any MLS history on it. So was it ever on market?
It was on there because when I came across it, it was on market at 1.59. I didn't have his estimate. I actually had a price on there when I first got a hold of this.
Okay, strange. Yeah, so I've got a lot of buyers that are looking for creative finance deals right now. And the more creative, the better. We were working on this deal in Linwood. It was a duplex. And
I thought you had a fourplex in Linwood, or is that a different one?
What's that?
I thought you had a 4-door in Linwood.
No, it's a duplex.
Gotcha.
Duplex that was zoned commercial. And yeah, this property showing off market and no listing history. So I'm not sure what the deal is. So yeah, so fourplex.
No, yeah, the listing was a move on the 4th.
Okay, I might be looking at the wrong thing. So the owner was willing to do sub-2 on their property in Linwood, and it had a super low balance on it. Well, so it had a low balance, but it also was already 14 or 15 years into the mortgage, which meant that they were paying down a huge amount of principal. The P&I portion of the payment, huge portion of that was paying down principal. So plus the rate was in the 3s. So we put this out there and the DMs blew up on Facebook. Everybody was like responding to this. The caveat was they wanted a huge down payment. They wanted 250 to 300K down. But there were investors that were willing to do it because that mortgage was so cheap, and then the principal pay down was huge on it. So it's not like a newly originated mortgage at 3.5%, where most of the payment is going to paying down, or most of the interest, right? Most of the payment here is going to the principal. So everybody was loving on this deal, and then the seller, we're trying to negotiate the terms because originally it was just a cash deal.
Yeah,
said they might be open to doing the seller financing sub-2, and so we opened that up and got a bunch of people interested in it, and then they decided, you know what, we're gonna end up keeping this duplex after all. So, and then the other thing that deal had going for it was it's zone commercial. There was apartment buildings all around it. So it is basically the smallest structure in that area, and eventually could be redeveloped to anywhere from 9 to 20 units, depending on what you were gonna do with it.
Yeah.
So, and then we got another crazy seller finance deal right now where it's in Granite Falls. They're wanting 90K down as 240K purchase price. And it's a 5 to 7 year term that they're wanting. 7% interest, and they're willing to just tack all the payments onto the end of the loan, meaning the buyer doesn't have to pay any payments on that.
Yeah, but if you get, if you're out there for 10 months and when you cash out, then you got to pay back 10 months. Got it.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So it helps with cash flow in that you're not having to make these payments while it's going on. So
Yeah.
if somebody were to fix this up as a rental potentially and keep that note for the full 5 or 7 years, even they wouldn't be making any payments, while that note was in place. So that's a pretty crazy one. So we just put that one out there this morning. So we'll gauge the interests on that to see. I mean, most of the buyers that we're talking to that are interested in creative finance and seller finance, they're wanting deals that are like 5 or 10% down. And it's like everybody wants a low down payment deal, but those are a lot harder to come by. So, hey, Cecilia, what's going on? You got a deal locked up yet?
Hey, Rob, not yet. Yeah, I did some calls to some apartment owners last week and also started calling on some vacant lots and did a little bit of door knocking over the weekend and talked to a couple agents, but yeah, no deals yet. But yeah, hopefully staying consistent with that outreach will lead to something soon. So yeah, we'll see.
Anything that looks even remotely promising at this point?
I mean, there was an interesting one that came in from an agent. It's like a duplex in Spokane with some looks like potential to like add more units on the lot. I need to call the city about that and just kind of understand more like what's really possible. But it seems kind of risky. Like the current duplex it's like a 1900s building and seems to need like quite a bit of work. So that's where we kind of get like held back and hesitant on that one.
So what's the plan then? You're just gonna continue hitting agents up and
yeah, that's the plan.
So are you keeping track of any sort of like how much outreach you're doing and who you're talking to and how frequently you're following up and stuff like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. I have just been keeping like an Excel spreadsheet because my list has not been like that big for apartments. And I'm just kind of starting to reach out to agents. So I've been doing that on Excel. I recently got Deal Machine to track that way. So yeah, that's what I've been doing so far, like nothing crazy. So I don't know how.
Do you guys use a CRM for any of the other stuff that you do?
No, not yet. Yeah, I mean, you're doing a lot higher volume, and you use Podio, right?
Yeah, I mean, Podio isn't amazing by any sense, but
there's free CRMs out there. Like I think I had like Friday or something. That's a free CRM.
Friday or Monday?
Huh?
Friday or Monday?
Friday.
It's called Friday. There's one called Monday.
Yeah, it's FridayCRM.com. And you can try looking into that. It's free.
Yeah. Podio has a free version as well, I believe. I pay for the premium one, which isn't that expensive. It's about I don't know, $25 a month, and it gives you automation, which I make a lot, pretty heavy use of. But I mean, the thing I like about using Podio versus like Excel is the fact that you can like set reminders for yourself, so it can. So if you want to put agents in there that you're calling, so this is what I do, just have a table of the agents. And it's basically just a spreadsheet that has a little bit more features to it. So it allows you to say, define the date that you talk to them, and you could say, oh, okay, show me everybody I haven't talked to for at least 30 days, and you can go through and then start hitting those people up first, update the date that you talked to them, and then they kind of go back to the list. Or you could have it send you a notification says, at the 30-day mark.
Yeah, set task, something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Set a task to go and call this agent again. And then it's nice because then you can put notes in it. The notes get time stamped with the date and time that you put the notes in. So you can, what I like to do is I make notes of just even personal things that we talk about in the conversation, so I can then bring that up again. So it helps with like building rapport, with the agents, when you can, say, oh yeah, what'd you end up doing for your daughter's birthday or whatever? Because they might have been like, oh, hey, I can't talk right now. I'm just running out to, do something for my daughter's birthday or something like that. So that's the other cool thing. And then you can like delegate stuff too in Podio. So if you end up having a virtual assistant or somebody else that you're working with, it helps to kind of split up tasks in there. So, but yeah, whether it's Podio or not, at least you're tracking it though in something now. Like it even just having it in the spreadsheet is better than not doing anything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, just for our volume right now. Yeah, I mean, that's been working enough to kind of manually sort of go through and see what's up next. So is it like every 30 days is your timeline for following up with agents and just like checking back? And
yeah, unless they're like a VIP agent who, and this is the other thing too, is you can kind of start defining who are the agents that are super responsive and are open to sending stuff that is off market. And those are the ones you want to get really friendly with and make sure you're following up with consistently. So I was just thinking too with Podio, the other thing that's nice about Podio is like, so if you decide to set a goal for yourself to say, okay, I want to have, I don't know, whatever, 10 conversations a week with agents, right? So in Podio, it'll automatically track those KPIs for you. So if you have a field in there in your agent record to say when you talked to them last, then you could have Podio generate a report, say, oh, I made 5 calls on the 11th, 4 calls on the 10th, 1 call on the 9th, and that way, and then it can aggregate it by week or aggregate it by month. And so you can track to see if you're kind of on pace to be doing the outreach that it is that you want to be doing, right? So that's the other kind of cool thing about it. It gives you some sort of visibility into how you're doing as far as your outreach or whatever it is that you want to track, because Podio could be configured to track different things. So, and you can kind of do that in Excel, like if you're time stamping stuff, if you have a column to, keep track of the last time you talked to them. But Podio, it's pretty easy just to set up a report to say, okay, show me number of calls by dates or by week or by month or whatever. So
okay, yeah, I'll definitely look into that and see what they have, what options there are.
Yeah, so I mean, it definitely has its warts. Like I think there's probably better CRMs out there, but because that's the one I had started using first, and I got so much data in there now, and there's so much automation around that data, it would be a pretty painful process to migrate that. So yeah,
that totally makes sense.
Yeah, it might be worth looking into some other CRMs as well if you want to have something integrated with, because you could. So this is the other nice thing is we have our phone system configured directly with Podio. So every time you make a call, it automatically will save into Podio who you called, how long that call lasted for, or record the call and put that recording in there. It also tracks the text messages that go back and forth between the contacts. So when we're talking to buyers, for example, we have a history of all the text messages that are going back and forth. So this is really helpful for like my dispo manager to track how many calls they're making a day to buyers, how many of those calls actually connect. So how many conversations are they actually having with buyers? So like for my dispo manager, I'm wanting them to do, like 100 to 125 calls a day and having like 30 to 40 conversations a day. So this makes it really easy then to track all that, because they don't have to like talked to this person, I just talked to this person. It's like tracking all that stuff automatically. So that's been super helpful. So
Gotcha. Yeah, it sounds like you have everything pretty dialed in on tracking metrics and all that.
but if you want to track, calling or texting, there's other platforms as well where you can actually like send text directly from the CRM and have it automatically put all that stuff in there. Because Podio, it's clunky because it wasn't designed for that originally, but people built that functionality in like as a third-party provider, but there's CRMs that are kind of built for that out of the box. And so if you ever are wanting to have that level of communication, like just being able to text directly from the CRM or call directly from the CRM, I think like Go High Level is one of those platforms. Hey, Taj, what is going on? See you on Facebook Live there. What is a CRM? Geez, I don't know if I remember what it stands for. Customer resource management, I think.
Customer relationship management, I believe.
Relationship management, yes. So that's what I'm using to track the agents that we work with, the sellers that we're working with, the buyers that we work with, and all sorts of data that you could, what is the CRM? I'm sorry, you were asking a more detailed question than that. So we're using Podio for our CRM. We were looking at using HubSpot, but it was pretty pricey.
I didn't like HubSpot when I was working a 9 to 5.
Oh,
I've used so many CRMs like HubSpot, Zoho. Jeez.
Oh, Zoho, interesting. I haven't tried Zoho as a CRM. We're using it as for our document signing, though.
Oh no, yeah, Zoho. That's new for Zoho. Zoho used to just be a CRM. Let's see what else. There was another one. Odoo. Use Odoo as well. And God, I've probably been through like, I think professionally, like 8 or 10 CRMs. I like Go High Level. At the same time, I don't like it. It's not intuitive. Like if you're trying, like if you're going through like your list of numbers, right? You have to click them in individually. Like I like Podio because you can go from one client to the next by going to the side of the window and clicking that little arrow in the middle of the window. That's for workflow. And Go High Level does not have that. And it irks me because then you'd have to sit there and pop out 30 tabs. To keep your workflow going, so stopping, exiting out, going back, clicking the next one. And then also when you go down the list, you have to go down the list because it pops you back to the top of the list. So it doesn't keep you statically where you're at when you go backwards.
Yeah. I have yet to meet anybody that loves the CRM that they're using. I want to hear somebody that says, I love my CRM. So if anybody is watching this that loves their CRM, I would love to hear which CRM you're using and why you love it. So
I like that's the only caveat I had about that. Cause like when I used Go High Level through Amplify, it was good. And now I see why I had to pay $1,500 a month. Cause they did all that back end stuff for me. They made phone calls for me as well on my new leads and stuff as well, like 3 times a week, like follow-ups and stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, that is one thing that I think is pretty important for a CRM, especially if you're doing direct to seller. If you can get it where it's doing an automated follow-up sequence.
Well, no, I'm an actual person. It does automation. So I run my I don't get charged for my texting. I don't get charged for my calls. And I actually have a real person doing follow-ups as well as automation. I guess that's what I'm paying $1,500 a month for when I did have it. Yeah. But it was cool though. And then, if I had a problem on my list, I could just send my list and it'll be up and running in, whatever time, a couple of minutes or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Cause if you can get it to the point where, if you're following up with agents, for example, so if you're looking for deals, and you put them on a drip campaign. The challenge, I think, is to not make it sound robotic or automated, or like a message that was just kind of canned. And because there's wholesalers I will get text messages from, and I never respond to them. And I look through the text message thread, and it's been the same exact message for the last 6 months.
Yeah, they're not changing the the message threads, or they're not going in there and changing them. I always go through and hand change all mine because I want it to sound like it's me talking.
Yeah, because that's the thing. If you're looking for deals, somebody's gonna be much more likely to respond to you if you're genuine and authentic.
Well, yeah, it's the same conversation we had like a couple of weeks ago about, when you get calls and they sound like a robot and they're reading off the script, the exact same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You need to find a message that kind of resonates with how you speak or how you would speak on there, and not make it come across as it's being very, very scripted and impersonal. I think is the thing, right? Being impersonal is like, okay, I never respond to this wholesaler that sends me this automated message, right? Because I got wholesalers that call me and will talk to me. And and this is the thing too, is like people want to do deals with people that they like and people that they're friends with, right? Even if this other wholesaler could be like the best dispo person here in Seattle, like I'm not talking to them because it's just been a very impersonal experience, right? So, yeah, so that's why I think, so this is kind of the conundrum, I feel like. So you got texting, right? It's impersonal, but you can have a much, much wider reach, right? So is it better to do that and reach out to as many agents as possible looking for deals, or wholesalers or sellers or whoever it is that you're targeting, or cash buyers? Or is it better to call these people? You're not going to have as many conversations, but you're going to probably get higher quality relationships. So, but how many of those phone calls are you going to have to make in order to do that, right?
For me, I think I try to keep everybody and get everybody on the same cadence as me, like when we talk. So they know how I talk and I know how they talk, and we're all on a similar level. So I would think it's very easy to text in your cadence once you have them up to the way that you're naturally talking, the way that you guys have a relationship built, and go ahead and just make a single campaign from there just for that.
Right. Okay. So the question is, though, if you're trying to establish the relationship first, let's say you're out there and you're looking for deals, right? And so you're either calling up wholesalers or you're calling up agents, or that's your target, right? Let's say agent, it's going to be agent. Gotcha. And so they don't know about you. Is it better to do 1,000 text messages to different agents, see who?
I think the text messaging all day. I've been trying to call agents all day and they're not responding.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you're just trying to get massive numbers, then I would say tailor that script that you're using for texting, write it out by hand so you don't sound like a robot.
Right.
But you could put them all on one campaign and do that way and be very fruitful for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I would do it that way if I don't have a relationship with you, and it's a lot easier for them to look at something like, hey, I have this property, here's your URL, and hit the URL and see if they're even interested, or if they come across or something like that. If it's I am representing something, or I need to get something, or I want to get something from you. And there, the use case is a little bit different, but so I guess the approach would be different, but it's kind of all the same. I'd rather send a handwritten text out to all those people, one time.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think of it from an agent's point of view, though. Okay. So let's say you're an agent. You get a random text message saying, hey, I'm Rob. I'm an investor. Looking for deals. Can you help me? Or something like that. Is that just going to be noise to the agent? Like,
no, not at all. Because I mean, if you keep it just like that, very simple, like, hey, I came across XYZ. I came across your agent profile, whatever else from where you did. See where you let them know where you found it from. Like, hey, well, he's in the know. Then if he found me over here, then that's going to give you some edification and validity of what you're talking about. Hey, I'm Rob, an investor. I'm looking for deals. I just
feel like though, so many people that are are hammering agents right now, I mean, there's just so many, like me as a property owner, like an investment property owner, getting text messages from people, from other wholesalers, right? Am I just going to blow this off as like, okay, somebody that's not really wanting to put in any effort, and it's probably a wholesaler that's messaging me?
Rob, I think that you answered your own question. Just send the message that you'd want to get.
Yeah, but me as I don't want to get any messages. Like I'm not gonna.
But if you did get a message, you'd want it to be direct and to the point, and not sound like a robot.
Right. But how do you do that across 1,000 different people with different personalities and needs and all that stuff, right? So here's the thing about calling them, right? So you can get on a phone call and pretty quickly, like, do the mirroring thing, gauge that person's.
Yeah, you can assess very quickly. Yeah.
Right. It's a lot harder to do over text messaging, right?
But the text messaging will get you the bulk of kind of what you need, and you could fill in the rest with phone calls. If the text message don't work, then give a call.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, I would think, what's going to free me up the most? Where can I be most effective?
Yeah.
And you're not going to be most effective making all these outreach calls of, let's say you have 1,000 people. How long is it going to take you to go through 1,000 people?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if we're going to be realistic, it might take you a month, 2 months, because you're busy doing other things. But I mean, if you're just pressing the dial like your dispo is, then it might take you 10 days at 100 people a day.
Yeah.
But are they going to pick up? Probably not.
Yeah.
Because they don't know your number.
Right.
Text them? No,
so
you didn't.
You'll
don't know your number.
So you'll definitely get the people that are interested in talking to you, right?
Yeah. You're going to get the people that are easiest, the people that want to talk, but they might, other people might be busy.
Yeah.
There's so many factors at play, but I would send the text messages out and then see the results of what that text message brought me. And if there are certain agents I know that are working deals that are always having buyers for deals that are out there, or even like going through what they're putting out there on the MLS or what they're buying on the MLS, and seeing that those properties kind of coincide where you're at and where you're picking up properties and the price points you're at, then I would make the very conscious decision to get in touch with them. And the best way would be probably through a phone call. Mm-hmm. Hey, I saw that you sold this property. I have properties just like this for your buyer. Put your website out there. Something else like that. Like, let me see who this guy that keeps pestering me is. Oh, that's fucking Rob. Yeah. Somebody was just telling me about Rob the other day. I didn't put 2 and 2 together. How you doing, Rob? You want to be hunted down. Like, it's just crazy to me. Like, I'm trying to bring you money, you're not picking up the phone. Like, how rich are you for not to pick up the phone?
Yeah, either rich or just lazy.
Yeah, that's very true.
Or not motivated, I guess, potentially.
Have you had any issues where like you're reaching out to agents and maybe they're sending you deals, but then you're not really like making offers or actioning those deals, and you kind of just like fall off? Like, I don't know, they think you're like not serious. Has that been an issue? Or
so I personally tell agents not to send me deals.
Okay.
So this is the kind of what I will tell an agent. So they're like, okay, let me set you up on a search, and then you can get an email and see the deals that are coming in. I'll be like, I've already got a search set up. I got a friend that's licensed, so they just set me up on a generic search. But I want to be more proactive about looking for deals. So if there's something like specifically that you come across that either just got listed or is coming on the market that about, I really want to see those deals. But everything that's kind of set up on just a generic search already, I don't need to.
You got that base covered already. We need actionable intel, quick response.
Yeah.
Did you just see that property? I need to know. That's the relationship I need.
Yeah, exactly. And they say, oh, well, if your friend's already got you covered, then why do you need me? And then I'll say, I'm trying to be more proactive. Just, the more agents and sellers that I network with, or investors that I network with, the more deals that I can see. And so that's why I'm taking time to reach out to agents specifically to let them know what I'm looking for. So if you ever see something that meets that criteria, that you'll think of me, and maybe we can, or hopefully we can put a deal together. Right. Because yeah, I get what you're saying. I've been on agents lists and they just keep sending them and then I don't respond and they're probably like, what the heck? Is this just like another tire kicker, you know? But then maybe the issue is they're just sending you crappy deals. That could be another thing, right? They're just being lazy. They got their own like little search set up and
It's a culmination of things.
yeah,
Exactly.
they're, you know,
Yeah.
they just want to try to have an easy sale and so have you come across that where an agent just kind of drops you?
Yeah, I mean, like there's some commercial brokers that I've been talking to for a while, and they do send out deals that are off market, but they're just like not really like great deals like for me. So yeah, I don't know like how to like maintain the relationship or like maintain that I am serious. Like, do you send feedback on like every deal that you're getting, or like how do you decide like what to spend time on?
Yeah, so since I'm not on like an automated search thing where they're sending me deals, the deals that they are sending me, because I told them up front, I was like, here's what I'm looking for. I want single family houses, stuff that makes sense for first time home buyer when it's fixed up, and ideally under like Pierce County under 600,000 or something like that, right? So, and like 70% of ARV or better, ideally better. If you find something like that, send it to me and I'll take a look.
Okay.
So now I know the stuff that I'm getting, maybe their opinion of ARV might be different than mine, but I'll take a look at that deal and then I'll give them feedback.
Okay.
Deal and say, okay, and I'll tell them where I would need to be at on price on that deal. If it's something that I'd be interested in buying, if the price was better, I'll say, oh, I like this. It's at 350, but I would need to be at 300 on it in order for it to work for me. And then they say, okay. So maybe then they try to see with the listing agent if it's something that they might be able to get an offer in, at that price, or kind of feel the agent out to see how motivated that seller is, to see if they're flexible enough. So yeah, if they do end up sending something, I do try to give them feedback on that if it's something I would be interested in actually trying to lock up.
Gotcha.
So, hey, Taj, see you hopped on the call. But yeah, that's a really good point, because I do have some other agents that kind of just set me up on the search thing anyway.
Yeah.
Want it. And so, but I'll still follow up with those agents too. And like every 3 to 4 weeks and just say, hey, just checking in, I'm not really looking at that search thing because it's already got one, but just wanted to see how it's going, see if you had anything coming up or currently listed that might meet what I'm looking for, and then just checking in with them, and just kind of staying in their ear. Because the idea is like once they, just so they're familiar enough with you that when they do get something, they think, oh yeah, that's right, Rob was looking for a flip. So I got this property that I don't want to list. And let me reach out and see if maybe he's interested in it, and that way they can still earn a commission on it, and then you get a deal that's not on the market, right? And potentially at a discount, pretty significant discount to ARV. So,
Gotcha.
yeah. Yeah, are the commercial agents sending you a lot of stuff, or what are
I
they?
mean, not a whole lot, but just like a little bit here and there. A lot of times it's just really like older buildings like in Spokane, and we're just not really, that's just kind of outside of our criteria.
Yeah, I'd be definitely just be very clear about if you've got like certain parameters that you don't want to like violate, like if you have a certain age that you don't want to go past, so say, 40 years or whatever, I would just be very clear with the agent. Because then if they do set you up with some sort of search, like for themselves at least, so they know stuff that you're looking for, at least you're still getting stuff that, might meet what you're looking for. Because I imagine for commercial deals, it's going to be a lot less traffic than for single family houses, right? So if an agent sets you on a single family house search, it's pretty much every day you're getting like 3 to 10 properties, right? Eat that, right? Whereas if it's commercial deal and you got your criteria defined pretty strictly, you might not see the same sort of volume. So maybe it would be worthwhile to get set up at least on one search with a commercial agent, and then you could get feedback on each one of those deals. The other thing too is like, does the agent even know that you received the search results? Like knowing that, oh, you got in 2 new deals and then you didn't respond. So are they personally sending these out to you, or are they just automated messages that are going out? That's another thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it's been, I think mostly like, well, yeah, I guess it seems, yeah, I guess they're like automated, but I've gotten some personal ones. Like it seems like they're kind of sending out like an automated to like their buyers list or something.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if it's personal, like if they said, oh, hey, Cecilia, I came across this, just wanted to see, if you're interested in it, I'd respond. I'd just look it over quickly. And if you could like cross it off and say, yeah, this doesn't meet one of those parameters, I definitely would respond if they personally sent it. If it's out to their buyers list, it's probably okay not to respond, right? Because they're not going to take you off necessarily of the list. And who knows how many hundreds of people or thousands of people they have on their list.
Right.
So you're not necessarily expecting a response from everybody that they're sending their email blast to, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
They probably get 25% open rates on their emails is about what we see on our
okay.
sent out. So we're actually following. We'll follow up with the people that just open the emails up. Actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if we know that you like looked at the deal, you open the email, or if you open the email multiple times, if you've looked at this deal like 5 times, you're gonna get a phone call and say, hey, Cecilia, what do you think of this deal? Do you think it's something you might be interested in? So we can track how many times people open their email up and how many times they click the pictures in the email. So that's helpful for trying to figure out who's interested in stuff. So I'm sure some of these agents have a similar system set up as well. So, all right. Anything else?
Make some deals on Graham, man. Come on, let's go.
So it's $1 million. Is that what they're wanting? That's
I had to bring them back to reality, let them know what
that's not, it's got to be like half of that. I think Todd, you actually might have taken a look at that vacant lot on Graham a few weeks ago. I think Chloe might have reached out to you about that. Yeah, I think that it needs to be in the 500s in order to work, given the proximity to the freeway and just the way the market is right now.
I'm going to look at your Linwood property today. So
you know what? So we just talked about this a little while ago. The Linwood deal is now dead. The seller decided that they did not want to sell it after all. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they decided to sell a different property instead. So they were looking at selling a number of them. They wanted to sell it for all cash. So if it's a cash offer, they might still consider it.
Okay, we can do cash and then refinance it. We can just go hard money and refinance it later.
Okay, so that might be a possibility. Yeah. So
because if I can build I might just go and look at it today. I was so busy. Suddenly everybody wants to buy homes again.
I know. We're getting the same thing. We're getting a lot more offers.
Yeah, we're getting, yeah, it's crazy. I've been showing homes for the last 3 days. And one of the home was in Seattle. They liked it. Everything was good. They were very positive. And suddenly they said that the electrical system is too old. It was like those, knobs and needle kind of. Yeah, so they decided not to make an offer, but that lot is worth more than million, and they are selling the house for 1.4. And I felt like it was a good home.
Yeah.
So let's see. But yeah, I've got suddenly a lot of clients looking for homes back again. So which is
Okay.
good.
All right. Yeah. Take a look and let me know. They might.
Yeah, I will.
It's
And
sunny
actually,
out.
we can do cash because that will work better for us. It will be me and my partner. And if we can, if I'm planning to go to City of Linwood and just get more information before I can present the offer.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, Chloe
Well,
did. She did send me all the information I needed. So I just want to make sure and I've sent it to my team for making sure what the land use would be.
Okay, let me just follow up with the seller and see if they're still open to it, because what we did was, so they said they were open to doing a subject to on their existing mortgage, and then we got a ton of inquiries on that and 3 pretty solid offers, and then they're like, oh no, this property's cash flowing, we're going to sell another one instead. But if they can get a cash offer instead of doing a subject to offer, they might be open to still doing the deal. So let me check with them and
Sure.
Before you
Sure.
spend.
Yeah, I'm going to go and check I know it's kind of surrounded between Avalon building.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I planned to go 3 times and something came up. So today I'm making sure I'm going there.
Okay. All right, cool. So I'll see if the seller isn't like super speedy with the responses, so I don't know when I'll be able to.
Sure. But that's okay. I will go and see the place if I feel like, okay, this is good. Say it can have a very big ROI on it, right? So once you have done, I have so many people who will buy from me once I've done the process of getting established. So
figuring all the info out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I like the north side. Any deal on the north side is more attractive than I don't think so. Pierce County is something I'm interested in.
Right. Yeah.
Because I live on the north side, right? So it naturally comes to me. So
yeah, I'm trying to think if we have anything else up north right now. And the only other one we have is in Granite Falls at the moment.
Okay. Granite Fall is good. And there's a lot of homes being built around there.
Yeah, so this deal is interesting. It's the seller's open to do seller financing. They want 90K down.
Okay.
240K purchase price, and they're willing to do no payments until the property is sold.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, 7% interest and 5 to 7, and they're willing to do the note for 5 to 7 years. Even so,
is it subdividable?
Possibly. Actually, I haven't taken a look at that. I know it's zoned. The zoning allows for an ADU to be put on it. It's 1.25 acres, so it could be subdivided. I don't know for sure though.
Okay, I'll look into that one.
Okay.
But yeah, the Linwood one sounds very good.
Yeah. Okay. I'll find that. I'll get that info to you as soon as I can.
Thank you.
Get a hold of the seller. So, and I'll let you know. So, all right, I got to drop, but thanks for coming on, and I'll be back on next Wednesday at the same time. So, all right, see you guys later.
See ya.
Thank you.